Happy Friday, fifth graders! Let's review all of the idioms we learned this week related to people and personality traits. So if someone goes against the grain, this means that they do something opposite of what is generally practiced or accepted. The black sheep is the person who has done something bad that brings embarrassment or shame to his or her family. If someone's down to earth, this means they're decent, simple, realistic, practical and straightforward, sensible. A social butterfly is someone who enjoys being around people and is friendly with everyone. A person who enjoys mingling with other people at social events. Now, we can describe people and actually situations as being a pain in the neck. Pain in the neck. It's not literally a pain in the neck. See how this person's holding onto their neck because it hurts? It means that anything is particularly annoying, difficult, troublesome, inconvenient, or irritating, including a person, place, situation, or thing. So, because a pain in the neck, literally, it hurts, right? And it's when you have a pain in the neck, like you slept funny and you wake up and your neck hurts, it doesn't go away for a while. It bothers you. It's hard to do things. It's hard to move. Well, similarly, a person can be a pain in the neck. A place might be a pain in the neck. A situation, like we could say, staring at the screen and distance learning for a long time is a pain in the neck. A thing can be a pain in the neck. So here are some examples. Sometimes adding fractions can be a pain in the neck when there are a billion steps. My little brother is being a pain in the neck and won't let me do work. So we can describe people, places, situations, or things as a pain in the neck. We have learned the suffix "ick," which means like or related to. So we have artistic, relating to art and culture, right? Good at painting, drawing, or producing beautiful things. Classic is when something has all the features that are typical or expected of a particular thing or situation. So you can have a classic example, a classic mistake. It's something admired by many people and having a value that has continued for a long time. If something's ironic, this means that the situation is one in which it is unusual or amusing because something strange happens, or the opposite of what is expected happens or is true. And people can use words that are opposite of what they really mean. Iconic is of or relating to or having characteristics of an icon. It's something or somebody widely recognized and well established. They're widely known and acknowledged, especially for distinctive excellence. So today we have the ick word historic, and you might recognize this base word that comes from history. So some examples. City Hall is a historic building that will be preserved forever. Number 2, the COVID-19 pandemic is a historic time. The last global pandemic was in 1918. So what does it mean when something's historic? A historic place or building is very old. Okay, and generally it's kept because we want to remember history, we want to remember what it looks like. Like, for example, a historic building. There are many historic buildings in Washington, D.C. and on the East Coast because that's where this country began. Or in California, we have missions, right? You might remember from 4th grade learning about the California missions. These are historic buildings that won't be destroyed. They'll be kept like a museum, right? For people to visit and see what it was like in history. Now, a historic event or act is very important and will be recorded as part of history. So, we have had, for example, this pandemic is a historic time because the last one was 100 years ago. And we'll always remember this time. When you're bigger, when you're an adult, 5th graders, you'll remember that you went through this crazy, chaotic, weird, strange, unusual time. And you'll remember that you were going through this pandemic in the 5th grade and you had to do school via Zoom and looking at a screen and such. So hopefully we won't have to experience this type of thing again, but we will remember this time for many, many years to come. It is historic. Now, if you encounter, on the quiz, when you encounter another ick word, it'll mean like or related to So if I give you the word like poetic, that means it's related to something like poetry or a poem, right? It's something beautiful. It's something beautifully written. Or if something is magnetic, this means it's like or related to or has the characteristics of something like a magnet. So I could have a magnetic door. On a magnetic door, I can put magnets on it and attach things. Like our doors at school are magnetic. Or the whiteboard at school is magnetic, so we can put magnets on it. Your refrigerator is magnetic, right? So it means it's like or related to a magnet. Comic is related to comedy. If something's dramatic, it's related to drama. If something is heroic, it's related to being a hero. Okay? We learned the Greek root ject, which means to throw. So we had subject. It has two parts of speech. So noun, the thing that you're talking about, is a subject, the topic. In the verb format, this word is pronounced subject. To subject somebody means to force them to do something. So subject and subject, two parts of speech. To reject means to refuse to accept something, to not choose someone. If you feel dejected, this is an adjective. This means you're unhappy, disappointed, or sad. Remember that D means down. Object has also two parts of speech, two pronunciations. Object is a solid thing that you can hold. To object, as the verb, means to feel or say that you oppose or disapprove of something. To say that you, okay. Now, so interject means to interrupt what someone else is saying with a sudden remark. So let's say someone's talking, we can visualize it here, and then somebody interjects. They go, wait, what? Okay, or they make a comment or something. They interrupt. It's like interrupting. So here's a sentence. That's ridiculous, he interjected. Okay, so maybe someone's talking, they interject and they say a word. They kind of blurt it out usually, like it's kind of, sometimes they shout it out. And they might say it because they think it's crazy or weird, or they're trying to get clarification and whatnot. They're like, what? What do you mean by that? Okay. Now, if you see another ject word, then you'll know it has something to do with throw, like project. Like when we project something on the screen, right? We're throwing an image on the screen. So I didn't teach you that word, but if you see that word, like project or project, it has something to do with throw. So you'll encounter other words, fifth graders, as you progress in your career that have these Greek roots, the Latin roots we've been learning. You'll see lots of words that have the suffix ic, and I hope that you'll use some of these idioms when you talk and write. Amazing work this week, fifth graders. Continue working hard. Next week, week 8, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.